Hello and thank you for coming to the channel today. My name is Kieran Hughes Jones and I'm quite simply going to show you some of the amazing pieces that I've been picking up over the last few weeks. So that's antique items and vintage items, and these come from all over the world. Now if you don't know who I am, I'm an antiques dealer based in South Wales. My website is taliesinantiques.com. I've got over 500 items from all over the place, and if you go and have a visit you'll see the type of pieces I pick up and what I sell. So I'm going to get straight into it and let's talk about what I've got, and as I'm going through we'll have a little chat about how things are in the antique trade at the minute. And I'm going to start off with this guy. Here he is. So he is known as Charlie, apparently. That's what the people I bought it off from called him. He's Charlie from Bali. So he's a massive sculpture. I'm just going to pick him up. Oh, he is heavy as well. Hardwood, all one piece of solid wood, all carved. I'm going to have to put up some pictures because there's no way I'm going to get it on the screen otherwise. As you can see, he's like 100 centimetres tall. I'm sitting down, but there he is right next to me, my little friend. What an amazing piece. And look, what I love about pieces like this, you know, this is probably mid 20th century, right? Yes, it was made for the tourist trade. And I've talked about this before. It's not a phrase I like so much, not because it isn't true, more because of the way it's like talked about when it comes from places like Bali or different places in Africa. People refer to tourist trade items in a kind of derogatory way, when what they mean is it was made for consumers. And lo and behold, most antiques were made for consumers at some point. So was this one. However, this kind of straddles more into a kind of folk arty sculpture sort of vibe because of the size of it. This theme of a fisherman in Bali, which is in Indonesia, I think it's part of Indonesia anyway, South Asia, is not an uncommon theme, this one here. However, this size certainly isn't common. You don't see many of them. There are some about, but there's not many of them. And it's amazing work. Regardless of why it was made, this was clearly made by someone who was skilled and knew what they were doing. Look at the features in the eyes, the detail on the hat, even the chest. You know, you can see the rib cages. As you'll see in the pictures, he's got a fishing net with 2 fish in it. This is awesome work, just absolutely amazing piece. And in a home, in an interior, this is going to stand on its own and look absolutely amazing. So yeah, I picked it up at a car boot sale. They've been amazing this year. Pretty much everything I'm going to show you is going to have been from a car boot sale this summer. We've had an amazing summer in the UK, and it means that dealers like myself are able to fill our boots. And I've got so much stock at the minute I have to sift through and get up for sale now. And look, the weather's turned. We're now early September. There won't be many boot sales left, so my focus now is getting all these items up for sale. And that's how, you know, I'll make more videos as the year goes by, just talking you through the type of things I've been buying. But this is the first one I'm showing you. This guy's amazing. I'm asking £195 on this. The pain with this one is I can't ship it, it's too big. And even though it's hardwood, there are bits of it which are gonna break in postage. It would be an absolute nightmare to get this sent. So it's collection only. That, you know, that drives down the price, unfortunately. I think if I had this up in, you know, a place like, I'm based in South Wales, right? If I had this in the London Fair, the price would be totally different. So I put £195 on it. I think it's a fair price for the local area. Someone can come and collect it, and they're not going to regret buying that. Okay, I've had to move Charlie over there. I've got my hat on because it's actually quite cold in here, would you believe? Early September. Right, the next piece here, what I'm about to show you is one of my most favourite things I've ever bought. Have a look at this amazing sign here. This is a Victorian shop sign, right? It goes back to the late 19th century. An amazing piece of work. It's reverse painted on glass, right? And then there's little indents and they filled it with gold leaf. So where it says 57, that's gold leaf. And in different, I don't know how well that'll be captured on the camera. You can see how it glistens in different lights. On the side, you can see where it would have been stuck to the wall and would hang out. And it's actually even got a latch here as well to lock it in place, probably at the end of the day. An amazing thing. What a piece of history and one insight into that time in history. You know what I think? You know what this is actually? It's neon lights before they existed. It's the first phase of it, and this was all designed to just grab the attention on the busy high streets. They were a lot busier than they are now, I'm sure. Fascinating, rare find. What's amazing is that there would have been so many of these back in the day. but most of them, when they were modernising the shop fronts, would have just got destroyed. So actually, they're now pretty scarce. And the person who sold it to me said this came from a watchmaker's shop. There's no way of telling that, unfortunately, as it's just a shop number, number 57. So I expect it's a trade store number or something along those lines. Just an absolutely incredible thing. You can see the wear on it, you can see the age on it. You won't see many of these around, right? Now, when I looked these up to see what the values were, I was pretty blown away by the prices. And given most of the ones I was finding did have like a shop name on them, but I was seeing sold examples on it of over £2,000, asking prices of £6,000. I put this up for £750 on the base, £750 that is, on the basis of this is a find another piece, right? It's a, if you wanted one of these or needed one of these, or if you lived in number 57, or if you just wanted something from the Victorian era and you loved your signs, this is the only one like this around. I'm pretty confident of that. An amazing find. They're in a car boot sale, and it just tells you everything you need to know about car boot sales. You're looking for, most of the car boot sale is full of household clearance, right? What you're looking for is diamonds in the rough. And when you see something like that, you've just got to get to it first and make sure that you're walking away with it, because the chances are I won't ever see another one of them. This next piece is a beautiful vase, and a few of you will be looking at it first of all and thinking, is that Chinese? Is it English? Is it what? Now, the reason you ask that is because this is a double gourd shape. Right? That's the shape of the vase, very popular in Chinese porcelain history as a shape. Also, the glaze and the colour is known as, well, in the Chinese tradition, it's been referred to as song de boeuf, it's been called Flambé, and it's been called Oxblood red. So, let's say the design is traditionally a Chinese example. This, however, is English, and it was made by Crown Ducal. Here we are, here's the bottom of it. And you see hints of this amazing purple that comes through as well. It's a beautiful piece of work. Here's the iridescence you see in the inside as well. Very arts and craft in its style and its appearance. And Crown Ducal were not actually copying just the Chinese. There was a English ceramicist before them called Bernard Moore, who was doing a lot of these amazing pieces, and he was truly of the arts and craft era, the arts and craft movement. And Crown Ducal were replicating his work in the 1920s, and there's not actually many of these around. It's a really interesting piece. If you look them up, you'll actually only really see miniatures from the Crown Ducal factory. They did make a lot of these. This is certainly the largest, and yeah, I saw it there, just sat on the store. It wasn't a particularly good car boot sale. This came out, and again, just made a beeline for it and made sure I was bringing it back. It's an amazing piece of work, and it looks fantastic. Like, that is the shape and the colour. The colour is awesome, and if you look around, you can see there's hints of purple that come through in the glaze. Incredible piece of work. And now, in terms of valuation, very difficult one to value. There's not a lot of sold results out there. I see this as a rare piece, and I believe I put it up for £225. I'll flash it on screen, and it'll be around that sort of mark. So yeah, I see this as a really rare piece and a beautiful piece. So there it is. I'm proud to have that on my website. So we'll keep moving on, and look, if you're finding similar things when you're out and about searching, please let me know in the comments, or if you found something that you think is interesting, a diamond, a star piece. You know, it's always fascinating to hear what other people are picking up at these different sales. I will move on to something based on medieval England. Now have a look at this. These at one point, several centuries ago, were very popular types of jars, cups to use. It's known as a tig. It's a free-handled ceramic jar, and it actually could be used by different people. As you can see, it can be used for communal drinking, could be for ale, probably going to be ale, going back to then to be honest, but for many different things. And look, the shape and the form of it is absolutely brilliant. You see the handles, almost like a root that has been put together, and then you have all these motifs around it with crosses and emblems. I absolutely love this piece, and again, yeah, it was just out there on a table in a car boot sale. Now, if this was a medieval piece, then we'd be talking about a much rarer, difficult thing to find, and the value can go into the thousands for those items. This still has a lot of age. You can see at the bottom of it. I believe this to be mid to early 19th century, a revival piece. Now, revivalism was happening quite a lot during that period, and a lot of potters were looking back to the medieval times and reimagining these pieces. Now, I think it's from that period rather than older, just simply based on the bottom. That looks like a more polished bottom to me. I'd expect an older one to be more coarse. But you tell me your opinion. There's no marks on this. I don't know who the maker is. This is still an exceptionally rare item and a fascinating piece of history. Look, I love how everything, you can see how handmade everything is. Even the motifs, they're well done, but they're naive. You know, they've been done by hand. Absolutely love this piece. Now, my asking price, as I say, because this is a later revival piece rather than a medieval piece, is lower. I'm asking £250 for this one. Might even seem a lot to some people, but if you look them up, that is the going price for a later piece. As I say, if I claimed this to be medieval, then we'd be talking a different ballpark. As I say, you tell me your opinion, what age you think it is. I absolutely love it though. What an amazing thing. Right, we're going to go on to my little tips. Something to buy if you see it, which a lot of people don't. Here we have a beautiful vase here. Look at the colours, the geometric shapes. This is a Moroccan vase from Safi, and I know that because it says Safi on the bottom and it has the Arabic writing as well. Now, Moroccan pottery is a bit of a sleeper for a lot of people. There are a lot of collectors around the world who love this work, who value Moroccan pottery. In fact, if you can get antique pieces, I see this as being mid to early 20th century. If you can go into the antiques realm where you get into the 19th century, Moroccan pottery can be very valuable. There's collectors all over the place for this style of work. And it's because the Moroccan potters have their own style and are exceptional at what they do. This is all hand painted, all these different patterns. And it goes back to the Moorish and Islamic traditions. And look, this is an amazing piece to have in the home. They really, you know, I suppose in their climate, the colour really complements their homes as well. So there we go, a beautiful piece of work. I bought this off a dealer who clearly didn't rate it, or maybe they had it for a while and it didn't sell. That can happen. I have this up for sale at around, I believe, £65. But I'm working from memory, so I'll pop it up on the screen. A lovely find, and if I see pieces like this, I try and grab them because I know there's a good market for them. I'm buying more and more lamps than I used to. I used to leave them alone because I thought the rewiring side of things was difficult to get into, but I realise now that you shouldn't overlook them because most people are happy to buy a lamp that needs rewiring, do it themselves. They've got the reassurance of knowing it's working, so all they're buying is the lamp based. You know, if it comes as working, then even better. But here's a great example of why you shouldn't be overlooking lamps. Look at that. That is an absolute beauty of a lamp. So this is based on the Corinthian columns. So it's a neoclassical design. And it is a marble. I'm pretty sure it's marble. It's certainly got the weight of marble, and it's cold to touch as well. It doesn't get any warmer as I'm holding it. And then you have the brass mounts. I believe this to be a mid to early 20th century example. An absolutely stunning work. And yet again, I saw it there. What I found interesting about this is its car boot sales into an absolute, in a nutshell is the word I'm looking for. Because this was on the store where it was all household stuff. That's what most car boot sales, and when I say household stuff, I mean just what people are clearing their houses out with, you know. Fair enough, it's toys that they don't use anymore, appliances, clothes, all that type of thing. And this guy walked past and just had this sitting there as well. And I thought, wow, what a thing just to have on the store like that. So that probably just been in the family for a long time. Absolutely loves this piece. I think it's a real stunner. I'm going to put it up, I can't quite remember how much I'm asking for it, so I'll pop it up on screen. But a really good find. Just has that elegance that you would want. So that would fit in a lot of different settings. modern and antique. That's another great thing about a piece like that. These amazing beer trays, they all came from a pub clearance, is what I was told. So you got this amazing Guinness one here with the toucan, you know, mid 20th century, great piece of advertising wear. You've got Webb's, which is a Welsh ale. Again, you can look at the use. I love that's been in a pub as well, and that one. There's a couple more as well. Another Webb's one. And what's that, golden ale? Talk about ale a lot. This one hasn't actually got a specific logo on it, but as you can see, it's just a couple, one image. How early is that? That's got to be 50s or 60s or something. And what are they drinking? They are drinking a Tivoli and a Rummy Crosswells. Is it? Rummy? I think actually that is the brewery, a Rummy Brewery. So again, I think that's a Welsh one again. Nothing lots to say about these. Great piece of advertising wear. Really nice little addition to the website. They price, I believe, between £30 to £50. The Guinness one probably being the most expensive because Guinness is so popular all over the world and such a well-known brand. But there we are. You've got to have a good variety on your website, and this kind of vintage barware is proper man cave stuff, isn't it? So they are now all available. This interesting series of photos, 11 in total, all mounted on this sort of card, kind of silver card. I can't remember the right phrase for what you describe it as. So anyway, here they are. Interesting pieces. Now they're all signed by John Miller. Some of them have this blind stamp which says A.R.P.S. 1955. A.R.P.S. I believe, well, no, sorry, it does stand for Associate of the Royal, I can't remember if it's Photographer or Photograph Society anyway. So it's a prestigious organisation that's been going a long time. Actually, it goes right back to the mid 19th century, I believe, when the when cameras were the first came out. The oldest one in the world. And this John Miller was a member, and he's just a lovely, really interesting series of photographs mounted on card. There's the first one of what looks like a stone sculpture. It's a great variety. That's an amazing stained glass window from, it's actually not a church. When I looked it up, I believe it's a school, actually. What else we got? If you recognise any of these, I'm going to show you some of the portraits. If you recognise who they are, please let me know, by the way, as well. I couldn't find them through a Google image because Google Image Reverse, because Google Image Reverse doesn't do it on human faces. So I just don't know who they are. That's a nice still life image. Look, I'm no expert when it comes to photography, but what I can tell is that this person, John Miller, had a very good eye for, first of all, spotting the image you wanted to take, getting the lighting right, the positioning right, you know, and to be an associate of the most prestigious society, certainly in the UK when it comes to photography, shows that he did know what he was doing. So these were for a good price, and I thought I would give them a go. I'm asking between 20 to 25 to 35 on each of them. I put them up individually rather than the collection because I think it's such a range that it's worth just putting them up individually. So there's a few more left. I'd say there's quite a lot of these to show you. There's an interesting yacht there. Here's a nice portrait of a gentleman. You tell me if you recognise that guy, this one. I thought he looked like, what's that guy's name now? He did Inglorious Bastards, I think his name now. A nice claret jug, silver claret. I'd like to own that jug. Pick that up if I saw it. And then the final one, again, another image. I'm guessing an actress or a model. I don't know. A really interesting selection anyway. And as I said earlier, I like a bit of variety on the website. That really does bring something different. And they're all priced individually. And they're nice images. If someone wants to own them, they can mount them, put them on the wall, and they can enjoy them for many years to come. Okay, well that's it today. Well, thank you so much for watching. I was hoping it was enjoyable and interesting. It was a bit chaotic today. I was kind of just rambling through them. Hopefully you were able to pick up what I was talking about. In fact, I was told in a comment on one of my older videos, what do they say again? Talk too much, get to the point. And they're probably right to some degree. However, that's my passion. I love talking about these items. There's so much information I want to talk about. I have to actually bring myself back in to stop going on about them so long, just to make sure the videos aren't 2 hours or whatever. So there we go. Hopefully it was of interest. Let me know what you think. Were there pieces that you would have picked up, that you enjoyed, that you were interested in? Is there pieces you want to learn more about? Just let me know and I'll respond to any comment that does come in. And what I will say as well, especially if you are a dealer, it doesn't have to be just antiques. If you're a dealer that sells on eBay, Etsy, any of these platforms, or you're like me and you sell on your own website, go back and check out the video I made previous to this, which talks about the changes to US shipping costs. Because even if you're using global shipping program, you do need to know about these costs because they have just drastically increased and they're quite complicated. It's gonna have an impact on sales. There's no getting away from that. And it's better to you're aware and know what's going on. So go and have a look back at that. In terms of what's coming next, I've got a few ideas in terms of videos I'm going to be making. I'm going to be sharing more of my finds as we go into the autumn winter months now. A lot of the boot sales will close. I won't be going to as many. There might be a few indoor ones I pop along to, but there'll be different types of videos. My plan and hope is that I get to go out and visit more shops and areas, potentially fairs as well, and film at those ones and just show you what's out there, what I'm looking for. I do want to do more videos just talking about what it's like to be an antique dealer at this moment in time. Certainly interesting times. Like, not only have we got challenges like the changes to the US tariffs, which are having a direct impact on businesses like mine, but you've also got the economy struggling at the minute. You've got all sorts of world events which seem like really big things, like, you know, outside your control, but they do actually end up having an impact on business. So I do want to document more about what's going on. And there we go. Sorry, my backing light just went off. So it seems like a good time to end the video. Thank you for watching. If you would, please subscribe to the channel. It's free to do. You just click the button and then you subscribe. It just means that you're made aware of whenever a new video comes out, and it just helps support the channel. Also, you can help the channel by liking and leaving comments, so if you could do that as well, that would be great. Apart from that, thank you again for watching. Hope you have a great weekend or the rest of your week, and I will see you again soon. All the best. Goodbye now.